Hello everyone out there in Facebook world. It's Friday. You made it. You made it to Friday. How awesome is that? It is time for our Mahogany Motivational Moment for today. And I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day, and I hope that you're preparing yourself for a wonderful weekend. And I pray that you will be safe and all that kind of good stuff. Trying to make sure I get in a spot so that you guys are able to see me. Hi sis, how are you? What a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Orlando, Florida. Hello, Fashawn. How are you? So good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning into the Mahogany Bronze Hour today for today's Mahogany Motivational Moment. I am so glad to see you guys. It's so beautiful. I hope everything's going great where you guys are and that you're enjoying your Friday. I know I am. The day's almost over. Isn't that something? But it is just a beautiful day, and I'm just kind of trying to wait and let a few more people come in before we get started with our Mahogany Motivational Moment for today. So, like I said, thank you guys for tuning in. Just so glad to see you. Sitting out here, you would think every day I come out here and I say, you know, I'm not coming out here anymore because it's hot, but I keep coming. I don't know, because it's so cold inside that we get a chance to actually come outside, and I take that chance because it's a beautiful day. But I'm going to go ahead and get started because I do have to get back in. And I just hope that some more people will come on so they can chime in on our Mahogany Motivational Moment for today. But anyway, I want to go ahead and get started because I want to, I thought about something because today is actually payday, right? For a lot of people all over Florida, today is payday for you. And it could have been last Friday for some people, or it could be next Friday for others. However, my point for saying that is that it's payday. And I want to show you guys how faith works, because it's payday today, but the work that you got paid for today, you've already done it. See how that faith worked? Because 2 weeks ago, I had gotten a check for the week before and, the works before that. This check today was because of work that I did already. Work that I had to do first to get paid. Now, let me tell you why that's important. Hi sis. Oh, it's raining there. Hi Brenda. How are you, dear? Thank you so much for tuning in for today's Mahogany Motivational Moment. I hope that you guys enjoy it. But getting back to what I was saying, it's payday, right? Now I'm going to show you guys how faith, for those people that think they can't have faith, or those people that think that it's just so hard to have faith and to trust God, let me tell you something. You had to absolutely trust somebody to get this paycheck today, because what that said is you were basically saying, I agree to work for this money, but I'm gonna work for it first, and then I'm gonna trust that you're gonna pay me in 2 weeks. Now, I don't know about you guys, if you've ever actually been on a job where you do the work and then it's time to get paid and you don't get paid, or better yet, they pay you and then the check bounce. Okay? So I wanted to use that today because, like I said, today was actually payday, and I thought about it. I said, I wonder if people had that kind of faith in God. I wonder if people, how things would be if we trusted God enough to know that He would provide. If He made a promise to you, He would provide and do exactly what He said. Because think about it. When I came to this job, I signed a paper, of course. I took their offer for the job, and I agreed to work for a certain amount of money per year. And there was no negotiating of, in other words, I couldn't go to them and say, hey, look at here. Look at here, this is how this is going to work. I'm going to have to get paid first, and then I'll give you 2 weeks. You think I could go and tell them that? No. Or better yet, do you think I can say, well, listen, I don't really trust that you're going to pay me in 2 weeks, so we're going to have to come up with something. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, see ya, Ella, because that's not how it works. This is our standard. Okay. Now, we're on to something. That is the world standard. It's like that at jobs across this country. You have to put the work in first, and then we'll pay you. Now, God has given us His word. He's never written a bad check. He's never lied. If He spoke it, He brought it to pass. But yet, we don't trust Him enough to do the work, trust Him, and then wait for what we prayed for. We can do it on the job because we have no choice. We have to, or you don't have a job. Because I'm sure everybody watching this, every last one of you, if you got paid today, you had to do the work first, okay? Before you got that check today. And there are people in this country right now that may not get their check today. You know, and they've done the work. That happens. Don't go to sleep on me. That kind of stuff happens. Or better yet, there are people that have gotten their check today and they went to the bank and it's no good. Okay, but you put your trust in that job. You did that and you didn't question them. Okay, that's my point. We don't question those kinds of things because that's the standard. We have to set a brand new standard for Christianity. We have to set a standard when we have to trust God. We have to set the standard. The standard is if he spoke it, he's going to do it. That's it. You know? James, thank you so much. James says, nice, well put, easy to understand. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Hi, Calvin. Hi, Sherry. James, Keenan. Thank you guys all for chiming into the Mahogany Bronze Hour today to listen to today's Mahogany Motivational Moment. Now, let's go on with this. Let me ask you a question. So if you are actually working, got your check today and you worked first, who did you put your trust in? Did you put your trust in God to do that, or you put your trust in the job to do that? 9 times out of 10, you probably had to put your trust in the job because that's who you're doing the work for. You had to trust that they were going to be a man and woman of their word. Did you have an option to do anything differently? Now, I'm talking about the standards of the world now because, we want to hold God to the fire when we ask him for something and he doesn't do it right away. All of a sudden, he just he doesn't love us, or he's not, that Christianity stuff don't work. We hold him to a higher standard. And he created all of this, We hold him to a standard of, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Oh, boy. Okay, Ella, so you're going to go there, huh? Yeah, I'm going to go there. Are you one of those kind of people that say, I'll believe it when I see it? Are you one of those kind of people that, Ella, God gave us sense. He expects us to use our sense. I think sometimes that's what the problem is. I think sometimes we use too many of our senses, because to have faith, it can't make sense. Does that mean, what do you mean, Ella? It can't make sense. There are some times when you have to believe it and there is no proof of it. There is no proof what you can see. I talked to you guys yesterday about being an optometrist, right? There is no proof whatsoever. When you look at the situation, it does not look like it's going to turn out okay. But God said it's going to turn out okay. Does it make sense to believe it's going to turn out okay, even though it looks like it's not going to turn out okay? That's what people try to use and rationalize faith. You can't rationalize faith that way. It's not a logical, man-made thing. It's just like the diamond. It's natural. It's a natural occurring material. Faith is something that God created. He created it. The world didn't. So you can't do it the way the world does it. The world is, if you're one of those kind of people that's sitting around here depending on the world's standards for you to believe in God, it's never going to happen. Okay? Hi, Scott. Hi, Ernestine. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for today's Mahogany Motivational Moment. You can't be one of those kind of people that's sitting around saying, you know what? Well, I'm gonna sit up here and see how this works out. It doesn't take faith if you have it. Listen, let me tell you something. If you have $5 in your pocket and you go in the store and the items you picked up cost $4.20 with tax $4.80, then it does not take faith to buy those things. Does it? Come on now. I know I'm talking to a bunch of educated people, but does it take faith to believe God for that? Now, if you have a need and you don't have the money in your pocket to meet that need, that's when it takes faith. Because you have to know that that God is going to provide. I don't care if a freaking St. Bernard dog walks up here with a paper bag with $20 in that bag in his mouth and gives it to me. God provided. He didn't say how he was going to do it. He said he would provide. He said he promised you that he would provide. Is that correct? So you can't be one of those people that say, I'll believe it when I see it. I tell you what we do. This is how we got to do this. See, when you have this kind of mindset, when you have the mindset that I will believe it when I see it, if that's the mindset you have, there's no telling what's going to happen next. I'm not surprised what happens next. When you have that kind of mindset, I'm not surprised what happens next. Because you have just created in the atmosphere your own fate. Because of what you're saying. I believe it when I see it. And then you keep saying it. And then you keep repeating that. And we keep saying that. That is a very universal saying. Right, guys? Like, isn't that something that everybody says? I'll believe it when I see it. That has become, and we're so cliche with it. But what we don't realize is that it speaks against God's word. You know, because you don't have to. That doesn't take faith. If you see it, I don't need to trust God for that car to get in that car over there. I see that car over there, so I know it's over there. All I need is keys. It takes faith to believe, God, that I know you're going to provide a car, even though I'm walking today. Even though I'm catching the bus today, I know you're going to provide a car. That's faith. Okay? Now, this is what I say. I figured this thing out. What you see, and this is going to help you guys, and I want you guys to stay with me. Thank you, Ernestine. Ernestine says you have to speak it and believe it. That's right. You know, one of my sayings, I love this quote. When you pray for it, you got to prepare for it. That's faith. If I pray and ask God to make my business successful, I'm going to prepare for it. I'm not going to sit here and wait. I'm going to prepare for it. You pray, then prepare, then you praise it. Y'all got that? You pray, prepare. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Ernestine, you got me started, girl. You pray, you prepare, and you praise him. In that order. All right? So check this out. What you see turns into how you feel. How you feel turns into what you say. What you say turns into what actually comes your way. Oh, now I'm going to have to go back. Somebody didn't get that. Oh, I got to say that again. That's so real. That's so real right there. I'm going to say it again. What you say, what you see. Let me start over. What you see turns into how you feel. How you feel turns into what you say. Then what you say is what actually comes your way. So what the problem starts is what you see. Right? So it sounds to me that if we want to change this thing and we want to have faith, we have to change what we see. Now, Ella, how in the world am I going to change what I see? I'm not blind. I can see that this child is suffering. I can see that this woman looks like she doesn't have a job. She can't pay her bills. I can see that. It doesn't take a genius to see that. I realize that. I realize that that's what you could see. But that's not what you need to see. Now, that was a little too deep for you guys right there. I know what you see. And then you guys, and then this is what gets me. You got these people that talk about these holy rollers are always talking about, I'm blessed. They don't like to hear you say that. People get offended when you say that. I'm blessed. You sitting around here walking and you saying you're blessed. Okay. This is what I say. You don't call it what you don't say what you see, but see what you want it to be. Does that make sense? Don't call it what you see, but see it what you want it to be. You got to see things the way you want them to be, not the way they are. Okay? Now, this is going to be a little deep for you guys, so some of you may have to play this back a couple times. You know, because this is real. It's time for us to change these mindsets. Because it's time for us as Christians in the body of Christ to start taking over and to start showing our example. We are so caught up in trying to follow the world's standards. Really? We want to be just like them. Sometimes you can't even tell the difference. You know, like, why are we trying to be like the standard? We're not supposed to set this. The world is not supposed to set the standard. We are. Okay? You guys understand that? Because that's 101. That's hello, I'm in the world. Thank you, Jesus, for saving my life. 101.com. I am in the world to set a standard, not to follow it. Okay? So we have allowed the world to tell us that we got to believe it when we see it. No. Who started that? That's not true. That ain't what God said. No. God said, you don't worry about what you see. You worry about what I said. How about that? Why don't you take that? Now, let's talk about this. I said that what you see, I'm going to say this again for those of you that are just chiming in. Hi, Jasmine, Edward. Hi, guys. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. What you see determines how you feel. Let's just break it down. What you see determines how you feel. Is that right? Can we all agree with that? What you see determines how you feel. You make an opinion based on what you see. So now you're feeling some kind of way. So what you feel turns into what you say. Because y'all don't know how to feel something and just keep your mouth shut. You got to say it. You got to voice it. Put it in the atmosphere. So now what you see becomes how you feel. How you feel becomes what you say. Now what you say becomes the way. You just created your fate because of what you said. When you should have been saying what he said. Even though it's not what you see. Okay? So, now we're changing what we see. That means we got some sight issues. We got some sight problems. So I'm going to be an optometrist today. Now, in the Bible, when I was doing my study before this show today, I said, it talks about recovering sight, it talks about restoring sight, and it talks about receiving sight. Now, I had to break that down. I love you too, sweetie. Annette, thank you so much. Thank you, Brenda. Great message. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Recover, restore, receive. I broke that down. I said, now, I know what each one of these words mean. I'm not a genius or anything, but I can break stuff down, Recover, to me, sounds like I'm going to give it to you again. That means that you must have had it, right? That's what recover means. And restore, too. To me, that sounds like when God was talking about recovering and restoring sight, he wasn't just talking about the scales over your eyes so that you can actually see for real. To me, I believe recovering and restoring are those people who have forgotten what his word said. I got to restore your sight because you have lost it. I have to recover your sight because you have lost it. There was a time when you could see, but you have allowed the world to put the scales over your eyes. That to me is what he was talking about when he said, I got to recover and restore your sight. Now, this is the thing. It depends on how you look at stuff. You know how they have the glass half empty, half full. How do you see that? Now, the Bible talks about your cup running over. So if the glass is half empty, I see it half full because I want it to be full. And for it to be half empty, it's like your mindset is, you almost feel like that's where it's supposed to be. It's all about how you see. This is what I want you guys to examine after you listen to this broadcast today. Think about how you look at stuff. And then think about how you speak about what you see. Change that. I guarantee you're going to change some things in your life. You change your mindset, you change your life. That's just what I believe, So, I think that these are very important things, and then I'm going to give you guys a quote because I have to get back inside, and I know you guys want to get on with your day, and it's Friday. I want y'all to go spend those paychecks. I just hope y'all save it, just a little bit of it to spend it next week when we take money up for the books and donations for feeding the families. We're getting ready to get all that started. So don't spend all of it in one place today. Y'all put a little side for Women at Work International and for the Torn series, okay? Just wanted to throw that plug in there at you. Don't get too excited. Oh, you got to go get your nails done, get your hair done, all that kind of stuff. I'm going right down the street here and go get another wig, maybe. But you know me, I'll probably make this one last just another week. But anyway, so I just wanted you guys to chime in today because I wanted to talk about faith, because it was payday. I thought about it. I said, I'm going to think of a Mahogany Motivational Moment around getting paid. And I said, I actually had to work first before I got this check. I said, that took faith. So why am I questioning God if he says no sometimes? Why do I question God if he says wait? If he tells me to do the work and say wait on it, that's the same thing my job told me to do. Do the work and wait for it in 2 weeks. And I trusted them enough to do it. So why am I going to question God? I'm just being real. Hi, Kaylin. Is that how you say your name, sweetie? I'm sorry if I butchered it. But Kaylin and my sister, Michelle, Shelly Boo. How are you, dear? How's it going over there in Atlanta? Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, I'm going to end with a quote today. And I really want you guys to do me a favor. Every single person that's watching this, I want you to take this broadcast, and I want, as soon as it's over, I want you to forward this, because this quote is the quote of all quotes right here. Okay? This quote came from God. He stopped me this morning when I was eating my pecan twirls and drinking my coffee. He stopped me in the middle of that and said, no, write this down. He gave it to me word for word. So this is a good one. So you guys are going to have to make sure you pass this on to everybody. Okay? So this is a quote for today. Okay? It's one thing to trust God when things are going your way. But it's another thing when he answers your prayers and says, no, not today. You tell people, I'll believe it when I see it, to believe it's real. You still haven't learned it's not about how you feel. What you should say, if it's to be, it's up to me. It's really a shame to go through life with 20/20 vision and still can't see. I gotta say that again. That's deep. I want you guys to think about it. See, having sight, the last line of that was having 20/20 vision and you still can't see. So you guys think you know what you see. You think you can see. But honestly, what you see has a lot to do with what you do. People stop because of what they see. People moan and groan because of what they see. People murmur and complain because of what they see. People stop doing for other people because of what they see. People don't trust God because of what they see. People don't give because of what they see. So sight has hurt us. Honestly. So when you say God gave us sense, some of you using the wrong ones. And this sight, we have used it to our disadvantage. Sometimes you do need to put the blinders on and trust God no matter what. That's not easy. It takes faith to do that. And I'm going to tell you what else it takes. It takes not listening to people. Boy, if you really want to lose your faith in God, get a bunch of people together that have never tried to do anything outside the box and let them start talking about what's going on in the world, and they'll talk you right out of your blessing. You'll have a vision. You ready to go. God is giving you a vision and a plan, the roadmap, and you'll let them talk you right out of it. And before you know it, you have aborted God's plan for your life because of somebody else telling you what they see. I don't care what you see. I care about what he said. If God gave me a promise, I don't care. I don't care who tells me it's not going to happen. If he said it, that settles it. That settles it. James, hi. Hello. How are you, James? Hi, Ethel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to give you guys that quote again, and then I'm going to get out of here. I don't know what time it is. Sis, how much time I got? Because, you know, I have to have a timekeeper. Because, you know, I can sit here and talk to y'all all day until I get a little hot, and then it start getting hot up under this wig. Then that's a cue. But I got a little breeze coming through here today, y'all. You notice I'm not talking about how it's so hot because I got a little breeze coming from the side. I know that ain't nobody but God. But let me give you guys this quote again, okay? All right. It's one thing to trust God when things are going your way. But it's another thing when he answers your prayers and says, no, not today. You tell people you need to see it to believe it's real. You still haven't learned. It's not about how you feel. What you should say, if it's to be, it's up to me. It's really a shame to go through life with 20/20 vision and still can't see. 20/20 vision. You know, I think sometimes that we intellectuals think too hard. That's why we stress. That's why a lot of people stress. That's why a lot of people can't get what God wants, because you make it more difficult than it has to be. If he spoke it, just believe it. See, when I took this job, they promised me, Ella, I am going to give you pay after you work for me for 2 weeks. Guess what Ella did? Signed that paper and got her dark skinned butt right on out of that office and went to work. You know why? That's the world standards. When God says, Ella, I'm going to let you go through, I'm going to allow you to go through some stuff. I'm just using you for my glory. But I'm going to make it all right. I want to get mad at God. He's asking me to work for him too. Because see, it's not about me. It's not about me getting the glory. It's about his glory. How can God get glory in this world if he doesn't allow people to go through stuff and survive it? That's just like saying, I'm going to be a light